Why does God exalt certain people? Today's focus: He brings one down, He exalts another. Find Foods, 7 minutes a day, 1 Bible a year. Grace and peace, everyone. Today, our reading comes to Psalms 73 through 76. Our key verse is, "No one from the east or the west, or from the desert, can exalt themselves. It is God who judges. He brings one down, He exalts another." Today we speak of exaltation. This exaltation means having a position and also authority. Some are brought down, some are exalted. Perhaps you've wondered, why is this person your superior, your teacher, or someone above you? In the Old Testament era, people would ponder, why is this person king? He has this position. Why did God exalt him? What is God's purpose? When we think this way, our hearts may have some judgment, judging whether it is good or not. I recall a saying from my military service: a good demand is training, a bad demand is refining. No matter what demands officers above us may have, a soldier's duty is to obey. As long as we obey first, we can benefit. Perhaps some have different views, because there are always exceptions. People are imperfect. Officers are also imperfect. That's true. However, we must realize that Jesus coming into the world was an act of being brought down. Many were above him. For example, Herod, Joseph, Mary, Jesus' cousin John the Baptist. From the world's perspective, they were above him. Yet God exalted him to the highest place. So today, let's reflect on what it means to be brought down and exalted, and the reason for it. The Psalms are about expressing the heart's intent through songs and hymns. Today's reading is in the third book, Humanity and the Sanctuary. Let us look at the scripture. The arrogant do not know where exaltation comes from. To the arrogant I say, boast no more, and to the wicked, do not lift up your horns. Do not lift your horns against heaven. Do not speak so defiantly. No one from the east or the west or from the desert can exalt themselves. It is God who judges. He brings one down, He exalts another. The arrogant are those who are self-righteous. Such a self-righteous person does not realize that the authority he holds is given to him. None of it originates from himself. Therefore, do not lift up your horn. The horn is a declaration. Do not boast, do not be self-righteous, and do not speak so defiantly. Recognize the one who grants authority. Now, this statement is very interesting. No one from the east or the west or from the desert can exalt themselves. It does not add nor from the north. It is God who judges. He brings one down. He exalts another. But why east, west, the desert, or south, but not north? Here we add a point of knowledge. In the Bible, the north has a certain spiritual meaning. The meaning of north. Let's look at scripture. The pride of Satan: you said in your heart, I will ascend to the heavens. I will raise my throne above the stars of God. I will sit enthroned on the Mount of Assembly, on the utmost heights of the north. This passage describes Satan, who fell because of pride. Think about it. Does Satan know more or less about God than we do? He knows more. So Satan said in his heart, I will ascend to the heavens. This is understandable. He will raise his throne above the stars of God. The stars of God can be understood as all that God has created. All the stars, all created beings, all the angels, for mankind had not yet been created at that time. I will sit enthroned on the Mount of Assembly, on the utmost heights of the north. Why doesn't he say east, west, or south, but says north? Therefore, north has a spiritual meaning. The utmost heights of the north is heaven, is God's seat. Of course, this north is not the geographical north as we see on earth. It has a spiritual meaning. because the entire universe is three-dimensional. So, we must see from a spiritual perspective. Beautiful in its loftiness, the joy of the whole earth, like the heights of the north, is Mount Zion, the city of the great King. When the Bible speaks of Mount Zion, it refers to the place where God reigns, the city of his authority. It is of the north, beautiful in its loftiness. You might say it should refer to Mount Zion north of Jerusalem. Actually, Mount Zion is south of Jerusalem. Is it speaking of all the land of Judah? Not that either. It says the joy of the whole earth, not Judah. So, the north of the whole earth is Mount Zion, the city of the great King. This carries a spiritual meaning. Continuing, the north represents the position Satan desired to reach, and Satan's pride corresponds to the arrogant person mentioned earlier. And this position is the city of the great King, like the heights of the north. This arrogant person has no room for God in his heart, knows nothing of humility, and believes that all these things belong to him, that they were attained by his own power. Of course, in reality, no one can make even one hair white or black. Human beings are very limited. Pride goes before destruction, a haughty spirit before a fall. Such an arrogant person will surely fall. Therefore, let's compare with the New Testament. Let everyone be subject to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except that which God has established. The authorities that exist have been established by God. Let's think, who was the mentor, the teacher of a good prophet like Samuel? It was Eli. Was Eli a good priest, a good judge? He was not. He had many problems. Nevertheless, he brought forth a Samuel. On earth, there are earthly teachers. The heavenly teacher is God himself. Now, the picture below shows King Saul and David. Before David became king, who was his superior? King Saul. Saul possessed this position and authority. Because of this, David experienced much, even suffered persecution for righteousness' sake. Therefore, be subject to the governing authorities, because these authorities are from God, established by God. Using the previous saying, a good demand is training, a bad demand is refining. Of course, if it conflicts with God's ways, we must choose to listen to God rather than human beings. From this, we understand that a person who is exalted can have an influence on you. Yet, for that person, the lesson is that he must not become proud, for he knows it comes from God. We may serve as parents to others. This is a position with authority. We must not be proud. Life comes from God. We are like God's stewards, nurturing and disciplining our children. And for you, God works for the good of those who love him. In all things, God works for the good of those who love him. This all things includes the person above you who holds this position, this authority. Our key point is, God works for the good of those who love him, like Samuel, like David. Each person has their own lesson. We know that in a stage play, it is not necessarily the one who plays the emperor that wins the Oscar. As the saying goes, life is like a drama, and from a biblical perspective, this is also true. We are like a spectacle to the whole universe, to angels as well as to human beings. This drama is temporary. Some play the emperor, and some play a common soldier. And in reality, when the drama ends, awards are given. It's not that the one who plays the emperor necessarily wins, and the one who plays the common soldier cannot win. Sometimes it's the opposite, or none win, or all win. All are possible. When we receive the heavenly crown, that is the eternal exaltation God values, and what we pursue. Reading Guide to the Psalms. The Psalms are about expressing the heart's intent through songs and hymns set in the United Kingdom age. Psalm 73, Whom have I but you? Nothing I desire besides you. Psalm 74, Have regard for your covenant, because haunts of violence fill the dark places of the land. Psalm 75, The horn of the righteous alone shall be exalted. He brings one down, he exalts another. Psalm 76, who can stand before you? Today's focus, he brings one down, he exalts another. We must understand, authority is from God. Submitting to authority is beneficial. Each person has their own lesson. The key is humility, and God works for the good of those who love him. The crown in eternity is the true exaltation. Blessed is the one whose delight is in the law of the Lord, and who meditates on his law day and night. Fine food, 7 minutes. See you tomorrow.